Hey, what's up, everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I'm getting out in the rain. My uncle wants to hang out. I guess they wanted to figure out what church they want to pick for Sunday and have some more gumbo. I told him I wasn't really up for going all the way over to his house by the train, so he told me he'd pick me up at Hollywood. I don't know what that means for me coming back though, but yeah, I'm trying. Man, I'm trying, y'all. I didn't get to sleep till like 2 o'clock. Woke up about 9, 8 something, 9, and I didn't know all of this was going to be happening. So I was kind of moving around with the assumption I was going to be able to stay in the house, avoid the rain, get some art in, you know what I mean? Just kind of recover. I had to take some cough syrup this morning because I started feeling them symptoms, man, early. You know how it is. Once you start feeling even a little congestion, it's wise to get some cough syrup in your system. And so that's what I did. I feel 100% right now in that regard, but now I'm back out in it. So I meditated really good this morning, prayed hard, you know what I mean? Like just asking the Lord for the tools and the strength and the unselfishness to follow the path that he has for me. Fuck, man, what the fuck are you doing, man? Jesus Christ. See, that's the type of mood I'm in. People they're not quite sure what they want to do. They don't know if they want to hit me, if they want to let me walk, either way. So that's kind of what it is, man. I'm trying to be available for my uncle, but you know, it's rainy, man. It's rainy, and we're not used to this weather. He's from back east, so they deal with this weather all the time. So they don't really, I don't think they really respect that people are kind of like, you know, we want to stay in the house. We from the West Coast. It rains like this once a year. This is a real adjustment for us. Y'all get this rain all the time. Y'all get regular season, not us. Y'all get rain and snow, so it's like, but they look at us and say, well, just come on out. Like, nah, we stay in the house. So that's kind of the disconnect. I don't think they understand how uncomfortable this is for me, honestly. And so, you know, I'm trying, man, but it requires a lot of faith in God to for me, who's used to being able to control all of my time, to kind of, and furthermore, someone who's not very social, who don't like being around people like that, to do all of this, you know what I mean? And as much as he's done for me, he deserves this from me, and that's why I'm out here. So that's exactly what it is. I'm trying to honor what's been done for me and be more grateful than I actually have in my heart to be. You know, be more unselfish than I actually am. That's what this is. And so, and I just ask the Lord to give me the strength, man. This is not the strongest character trait of mine, dude. Like I kind of don't do anything for anybody in this regard. You know, if you tell me, hey man, come out in the rain and just kick it with me when you're tired, I'm gonna say no 99% of the time. But in this case, it's gonna be done. So yeah, man, I'm trying to keep an open mind, but I you know, I gotta work through my weakness in that regard. So this is a part of what my therapist has been asking me to do. Do some things, you know, that take you out of your comfort zone. Try to do some things that maybe you wouldn't otherwise do. And so that's what this is. So I'm gonna meet him in Hollywood and Highland. I messed up on the time. I told him 2 o'clock, 2:30. I wasn't really gonna be making it at that hour, based on how things were going, but I kind of was trying to just, you know, wing it. But when I did my actual calculations, I'd probably be more likely to get there about 3:30. So I came back around and told him about an hour ago that it'd probably be better for 3:30. And so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna meet at Hollywood Highland 3:30. Head back to his crib, and work the plan. You know, work the plan, whatever the plan is. I don't really know what it is, man, but I'm pretty sure I'll be fine once I get in. But my problem is not necessarily the trip there, it's the trip back at night when it's cold and rainy. You know, having to get on the train from his house. They've never made that trip. They don't really know the elements that you have to deal with. Not just, you know, with the people specifically, the type of people that you have to share a train with on the way home. You know, you got to stay on guard. It was a very unfortunate incident last night on the train. On the way home, like it was a lady really needed to use the restroom, and she went to the restroom on herself in front of me, man. And she was really trying not to. The train stopped midway between stops. She thought she was getting off, and it wasn't one of those. It was one of those 1 or 2 minute layovers before they move. I guess they had to wait for another train to move or something. And she ended up going right in front of everybody, but like standing in front of me. I just try to pretend like, you know, like it wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? When somebody's having such an embarrassing and degrading moment, you don't want to make it worse. And so I kind of just like didn't really react. You know what I mean? But I felt terrible for her, man. I was in that situation as a very young child. That happened to me once. Not as a grown man, but like, you don't know what people have going on medically. You don't know what, you know what I mean? You don't know what led to that being the case, why it went that way, but I felt terrible for her, you know what I mean? I felt terrible for her. And just like anything else, when you're a bald-headed black dude, you know, this has nothing to do with her situation, but just taking the train, you got to really be on guard in Los Angeles, man. Everybody thinks you're a gangbanger. Everybody's trying to guard against whatever wars they're involved in out here in these streets. And I'm a civilian, but I don't necessarily give off civilian. You know what I mean? People think I'm something I'm not. So I get some attention sometimes. People usually leave me alone for the most part, but occasionally I get attention from some of these young boys. And last night it was a dude with his girl who was giving me that type of attention. Like, I don't know if he thought I was a part of his war or what, but he kept turning around and scowling at me every couple of minutes. I'm sitting there with my hoodie on. I probably look like somebody. He's Mexican, I'm black, so he probably, you know, just automatically on guard, thinking black people probably have a problem with him or whatever, based on his circumstances and where he's at in his hood. But it's like, it's those type of interactions that I try to limit, because it really is a war zone in Los Angeles, man. And it really ain't all good between brown and black all the time. And like, these are the type of situations where when I have to go visit my mom's, gosh, I can't seem to get away to see. When I try to visit my mom's grave, or when I have to go to Inglewood to for any reason, it's those type of interactions as a civilian that I try to keep from being possible by staying out of the way. You know what I mean? And it's like my uncle wants me to keep coming back out there. I'm in town, so keep coming. It's like, it's a lot of things that you don't understand that this goes into having to go visit you, man. And you don't want to take the car to come pick me up. I'm not asking you to, but it ain't as simple as just come out. And nah, it's a lot I have to deal with, bro. And I want somehow to convey that to him, so that when I say no, it's understood why. It's not because I don't want to see you. It ain't even because I'm antisocial. It's because I'm trying to limit some of the nonsense that comes with being black in America as a civilian, walking around some of these neighborhoods and being in some of these elements. And on that blue line train, and that green line train, that K line train, and even some parts of the red line train, though not as much. Yeah, you're gonna have to understand it. Some people are gonna be smart enough to be able to sense that you're not a part of their nonsense. Some people are gonna be too high and drunk to even know who the hell they're around. They're gonna see skin, they're gonna see bald head, and they automatically gonna lump you in, just like a lot of people do who are outside of these circumstances. Some who are inside of it, they ain't all that sharp, and they ain't gonna be able to tell who's who. They don't know who's their age. I look younger than I am. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. And so I've been dealing with that. Yesterday on the train, several different times, it was that type of energy where I'm like, man, people keep looking at me like I'm from somewhere, or like I'm somebody, or, you know, or they might want to approach you, ask you where you from, all of this, that. And I really ain't affiliated with nobody. I really don't be walking around ready for that type of energy. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to be involved in any of that. And so here I go again, knowing that tonight is another trip back from Inglewood home in the dark. It's just like, yo, man, I want to be here for you, Unc. I really do. But there are certain parts of this, including walking in the rain for an hour, that just make it so that it's very easy for me to not want to do this, man. Very easy. And today's one of those days where I really, really am just not up for this, bro. I would have much rather just been in the house doing what I was gonna do. I told him, like, yo, tomorrow I'd be happy to come see you, and then Sunday I will make it my business to do everything necessary so that I can make it to church. He trying to hang out every damn day, but he ain't coming over here to pick me up or drop me off. So it's like, man, that is a 2.5 hour trip. 2.5 hours it takes from getting here to his house. And so nah, man, that I'm not going to pretend like I'm the mentally tough warrior that everybody acts like they are. I don't really want to do that every day. I may do it every other day, give myself a day to recover for everything, social, battery, physically, from the walking, the stomping around, climbing the steps. Y'all know how I do. If I was a bus catcher, which I should be on days like this, it wouldn't be as strenuous, but I ain't gonna do it. So that limits me a lot, just not being willing to catch buses and Uber and all of that. It could cut down on a lot of those things, but I'm never gonna do that because I'm me, and maybe that's the weakness in me. But just the same, it's like I'm gonna walk instead of hopping on somebody's bus. And like I was saying yesterday, I try to limit any interactions that have to do with riding in somebody's car, having somebody control the vehicle I'm in. These days, I just try to limit that as much as possible. Since we're so happy getting in Ubers and stuff like that, I try to limit that. I try to limit when I'm getting in people's cars, especially when it's not great conditions. You know, and I was telling y'all that yesterday. It's like, while everybody's going with the Uber era that we're in, I know that there are times where it can go left. And so if you limit how many of those you actually do, you limit the chances of things going wrong. And so I just try to limit certain things in my life, man. I really do. That's kind of along the lines of what I be thinking. I ain't really hopping on the bus because I'm limiting certain things, cutting down on the likelihood of certain things, odds of certain things. I feel like my chances are much better when I'm in control. I walk the streets. Train is fine, but the buses, it's hit or miss. I've been in situations where buses are getting hit by trucks. I've been in situations where buses, not hit by trucks, but hit by a car or something like that. I've been in situations with car accidents in buses. Let's just limit those. In the rain, people drive crazy. I limit stuff. And so that's kind of along the lines of how I be thinking. Plus, I heighten the opportunity of my body getting exercise and things like that, especially with the issues that I have medically, for which I'm not really clear on, but I feel like exercise is probably the best way to go. Doing things manually, walking, you know, consistency in exercise in the morning and night, it keeps me going in a way that I think works against whatever my ailment is, whatever the hell is wrong with my stomach. So, you know, certain things are just, it's how I live, man. I'm not going to take any escalators. I'm climbing steps most of it, if not all of the time, you know, to assure that I'm getting the most out of the exercise and the strength of my body. You know, this is just lifestyle choices, but lifestyle commitments that kind of make things different for me than for others. And because this is how I lock myself in to these behaviors, it's worse when it's time for me to go there or there or there. You know, it's a lot more that goes into it. As I was telling my uncle, go to church. In order for me to go to whatever church they want to go to, they're likely it's going to be in a black neighborhood. It's going to take me getting up about 4 a.m. to get there, so that I can follow all of my different things that I am locked into doing. And I'm not willing to break those at all. Not willing. Now, if I just catch an Uber, like most human beings will, it's going to cost me $50-something, which I'm not willing to do. Got to save my money and my circumstances. But then it cuts down a lot of the time. But even then, like if I forego my exercise routine in the morning, maybe eat some breakfast out, yeah, I can make life a lot easier for myself, cut back on a lot of the time required for certain things. But all of those things make my life significantly less healthy if I do those things. And 1 time begets 2 times, begets 3 times, begets inconsistency, which I've always had trouble with. As a young person, my consistency was lay down, really do whatever I want, get up whenever I feel like it. And so I'm working against tumbling forward poor consistency behaviors, if that makes any sense. And so as a result, I don't want to miss a day, because I miss a day might beget 2 days, might beget 3 days, maybe beget me not doing it at all. And so it's, you understand yourself, you know what you have to do has to be relentless and committed, and you have to be able to do it even when changes come to your schedule. So it's like, some may consider this crazy. Some may. I consider it building consistency from a space from which consistency was never found before. Training oneself to be healthy against that for which is common culture. And buying yourself time for feeling good, you know, physically. A lot of people, they grow older and naturally they start having hip problems, back problems, knee problems, problems that I feel come from allowing the culture of doing things easy and time effective and automatic, so to speak, against doing what I'm doing, which is seeing the fruit and doing things manually, physically, consistently, relentlessly. And by the time I'm 70 something, I'm gonna have stronger legs, stronger back, stronger everything in theory, for having used all of this throughout my 40s. Doing all of these things throughout my 40s. Being relentless with my exercise routine and my eating habits in my 40s. Instead of just doing what culture allows for me to do, which is ultimately gonna put exactly as many years on my life as most people have. As it pertains to the common life expectancy, common health expectancy. I wish I would have had these habits as a child. I would have never had any gut issues in theory, because I never would have been eating poorly enough to put myself in a position to now pay for those gut issues. This is why I'm so relentless with how I do my thing, because I know I'm working from a place of disadvantage in that regard. Same goes with my physicality in every other area. So it's like, if you break down why I do what I do in the way that I do it, it'll make all the sense in the world. But a lot of it is against the natural culture of America, the way America moves, the way America thinks, the way America eats, the way America tries to make everything easy for itself, against itself in a lot of cases, only to find itself unhealthy, in need of medications to fix problems that were created by taking the easy route, by taking the I like the way it tastes route, and all these different things that ultimately were coerced into just by being in this place. I'm not with it. And when I do things my way, I'm usually able to manage myself even through my medical whatever. When I start dealing with other people, eating what they eat, I find myself sick. My immune system starts to deteriorate, doing things the way people do. I get less sleep. I get tired. And this is what I've been running into when my uncle comes to town, man. I get sick with him because I do stuff that's normal to American culture with him, eating the way Americans eat. You know, getting up all extra early, doing stuff they don't want to do, stressing themselves out. I don't allow for any of that in my personal life. And I like being alone because I can manage me well without others. And that is something that I need other people to understand when dealing with me, man. I'm strict about how I operate because it's required. I can't eat like y'all eat. I need more rest. I need more exercise for what it is that my intentions are in this life. I'm a 41-year-old man, don't have any kids, which means I'm gonna have kids late if I have them at all. So I gotta have energy that y'all ain't gonna have at 60. My body's gotta be good at 65, 70 years old in ways that y'all's not supposed to be, in theory, especially based on the habits that you have and the cultures that you subscribe to. So for me, it's like, I don't want to take no days off on what it is I'm doing. I know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. I know where I'm trying to go, and I know where from which I'm working. And so it just is what it is, man. That's exactly what I want to say. And I think if everybody did things the way I do them, they'd probably be healthier. They live longer. They cut down on opportunities for things to go wrong, like car accidents, plane crashes, and all different types of stuff that people end up finding themselves in, becoming statistics too. You cut down on the chances of those things happening. They can still happen, but the likelihood is what you're really working against. Likelihood. So that's what I want to say, man. I'm out here, man. It's cold for our standards anyway, and that's what it is, man. I'm trying my best to acquiesce to the desires of someone else for their reasons, and you know that's a good thing, but it don't come naturally to me. It ain't. But hopefully it goes well for me. I've said a lot of prayers, meditated a lot on it. Hopefully it go well, man. And, you know, this is it. This is how you be there for others. This is how you be a good family member, a good friend. You say, yeah, maybe I want to do this, this, and this, but this is what they need me to do, and I'm trying to be there for them. And this is ultimately how you gain that respect within yourself and within them. Your reputation gets better. Hey, I remember that time that person really didn't want to do this, but they came out and did that. Like, I hope that's ultimately the type of reputation I can build. Because that's just as important as anything else I'm talking about here. So, yeah, man. That's really what it is, man. Prayers out to that lady who had that embarrassing moment on the train yesterday, man. I prayed for her a lot last night. It wasn't nothing funny about what she was going through. I don't think anybody on the train around me was laughing, so that wasn't a thing, but it was just a point, man, on Christmas Day, too. For that to happen on Christmas Day is like the worst possible curse. And far be it to know if a stranger deserves or doesn't deserve, I don't know, you know. But boy, did that suck to see her go through that. And I just tried not to make the scene worse by reacting to it in any weird way. That's all I could do. And, you know, that's really it, man. I think that sometimes you just got to lean on the Lord for all things, you know. You don't know what tomorrow brings. You laugh at somebody like that, and you can find yourself in a situation significantly worse, you know. So I definitely did not want to make that a thing. So yeah, I'm asking the Lord to help me with my willingness, my strength, my attitude, my heart, my desires. You know, as I'm wired the way I am, I don't need a lot of things from other people as it pertains to time spent. That stuff means a lot to people, as I know, as I understand, you know. But for myself, I really value time alone. I really value limiting opportunities to be judged or be pressured or to be influenced in ways that I don't appreciate or anything. I just try to limit all of that. And so what I found is I like living life alone. I like walking alone. I feel safer that way. I like scheduling things out. I'm able to manage myself that way. I like to do things on my own for myself, for better or for worse. And I don't find myself getting sick too often. I don't find myself, you know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff that I'm able to manage doing things this way, you know. And that whole idea of being lonely, for whatever reason, the Lord just didn't wire me that way. I need to see these people because I love them. Didn't wire me that way. I genuinely actually find myself more uncomfortable in those spaces than I do comfortable. And I think it's just because of how I was, how some of my more difficult experiences as a child just kind of wired me that way. And so it's to where other people feel unhappy when they're not around other people. I find myself unhappy when I'm forced to be in the presence of other people, when I'm not mentally prepared for it. You know what I mean? There's an awkwardness of meeting new people and then having to just stay in those spaces, not knowing them, they don't know me, or whatever the case may be. It's just, that's just not, for whatever reason, the Lord did not wire me for the need of others. To meet the needs of others, desire to meet the needs of others. I'm a selfish person, man. And I really struggle with that. I don't think it's the greatest trait. It's against that for which ultimately I really stand for, which is humanitarian stuff. And wanting to see people treated fairly and not get genocide and all these different things. Wanting to stand for things as right as it pertains to the betterment of human beings. But in my personal life, I really don't want to be around people. Doesn't mean I don't care for you to be happy. It doesn't mean I don't like people. I really do like people. But I think one of the reasons why I like people so much and have such good rapport with everybody in my world is because I then, too, limit the interactions for which otherwise can be in place. You ain't gonna have too many stories of me there, wherever it was. I wasn't there. I was somewhere alone, likely either being productive in this era of my life or being not so productive in previous areas of my life. But the point was, I can be certain to tell you that I really didn't need nothing from anyone. And this is what I was explaining to my sister. You know, when she said she was done with me recently, I was like, sister, it's much easier for me to stay away from people than it is to incorporate people into my life. It requires, for me personally, a lot to even answer the phone when people call me. It requires a lot to pick up the phone and call somebody else. So if you're going to be done with me, you need to understand that that falls right into my comfort zone. You need to understand that that comes easier to me than keeping you around. And as you notice, I haven't mentioned her. It's because I haven't spoken to her. And I'm very happy that way. I don't miss really anyone. And I don't think that's a good thing to say. I don't think people really like that. I don't particularly think that's the greatest trait in others when I see it in others. It's cold, it's callous, it's lacking in love, it's lacking in humanity in some ways. But it's exactly how I'm wired. And I really meditated on that and struggled with that this morning as I found myself so unhappy with what I have to do right now. And like, the Lord, you're gonna have to work that demon out of my heart, because I can't be the person that I want to be while harboring those thoughts naturally. Being deeply unhappy with the presence of others, not for the sake of them doing anything or not doing anything, just because of just what comes naturally to me and how I would like to be in my time in this earth. It's just not good, man. I don't believe in full skepticism as it pertains to not trusting everybody all the time. I think there needs to be some balance to that. I don't believe in being naive and thinking everybody has your best interest all of the time. I think there's balance. You need to have balance. I don't necessarily operate. My actions don't necessarily speak to that balance at all. My desires and how I want to be around or not around people don't speak to that at all. It speaks to a different reality of how I looked at things before I was able to come to conclusions such as those. When I thought I need to stay away from people to be safe. When I thought that everybody was a monster. When I thought everybody was capable of lying. When I thought everybody was capable of selfishness. When I thought everybody didn't have my best interest at heart. The habits that I have still speak to those ideologies. Unwavering selfishness. A weakness to say that I never want to do what anyone wants me to do. Unless it fits my alignment and narrative or whatever. Or unless it fits my desires. What I feel like doing. If I don't want to do it, I'm unhappy having to do it. And me being unhappy is the end all be all to whatever it is I'm willing to do. Like that just don't work, man. That's a horrible trait. We're considering what type of human being you want to be. And how you want people to remember you and what you want to be said for your name. And so I struggle with that. I struggle with the habits of somebody who didn't care about any of that. I struggle with the conditioning of someone who didn't think of those things at all. And as I go forward on a day like today, this is when it's really challenged. And I accept that challenge. That's why I'm out here now instead of creating some type of lie to get myself out of the situation, which is what I would have done as a younger person. I'd have told my uncle I was feeling sick. And I was, even though I was this morning, not too much to where I couldn't get out. I'd have told him that something came up. Anything, I'd have told him anything that I felt would have gotten me out of this situation to keep from having to do this. But that's just not who I want to be anymore. I despise liars. As I look in my personal life, I value truth in different things that I'm paying attention to socially. I see people lying to get themselves out of accountability, lying because they're not strong enough to tell the truth about how they feel, lying because they want to do things they know they should not do, lying because they want to hurt people that they know are innocent. It's like I don't want to be somebody in my personal life that lies to my loved ones to keep from doing things I don't want to do. I want to tell them exactly what it is and I'm feeling. And that's what I did. I told my uncle I don't really want to make this trip, man. But he insisted, as human beings do when they want what they want. You know what I mean? Well, how about you go this way? It's like, bro, that ain't cutting down on the problem. But let me acquiesce because I owe you. That's literally what it is. And that's the honesty I have for you all right here. And I wish the Lord would make me a better human being in that regard. It shouldn't be because I owe you that I'm willing to do for you what it is you asked me to do. It should be because I care enough to do it, even if you haven't done anything at all. That's not what my heart has. That's not the love in my heart that's actually there. And I work against that. And that is evil, very evil of me. And I want better for my loved ones from me than that. But this type of transparency can only build the trust within oneself to know that when I tell the truth, I mean it. I can be better. I want to be better. I should be better. It's not okay to be conditioned this way. It's not okay to think for yourself, only self, and nothing else. That ain't okay, bro. A lot of people give themselves passes and then they'll run from accountability. They do everything they can to keep that accountability out of their damn life. That ain't making nobody grow. That ain't getting you out of no spaces that ultimately back you into corners. You got to get yourself the right way. You got to be able to tell yourself, hey man, this is where I'm weak. This is where I need to grow. This is my attitude. This is where I don't respect in other people but allow myself to be. This is where I'm a hypocrite for real. This is where I don't have the greatest idea about self and others. This is where, you know, that type of thing. I'm trying to do that now because I need to grow. I need to do that now because I need to look at people who are in the dark and know that I'm not better than them as I struggle with whatever it is I struggle with. That's the beauty of what it is I'm trying to do here. To tell all you guys, yo, when I sit here and I say free Palestine, that don't mean I'm the most unselfish human being in the world. That don't mean that I always got the right stuff rolling around in my head. That don't mean I'm not susceptible to evil. That don't mean that I wouldn't be susceptible to wrongdoing. If for some reason I feel provoked, I will be met with the crossroads just like everybody else of either doing the right thing or not, either feeling the right thing or not, either being a coward or being strong. I am a human being and I stand on the idea that I need to become better. That don't mean that I'm there. I stand on the idea that I need to become more unselfish. That don't mean that comes naturally to me. I need to stand on the idea that I need to become stronger. That don't mean I'm the strongest person. I stand on the idea that I need to have great character. That don't mean that my character is great. And stand on the idea that I want the Lord to guide me toward being a great person. That don't mean I feel like I am. Because a lot of times we won't listen to the messenger because we don't see the accountability in that messenger. A lot of times we won't listen to the wisdom out of somebody coming out of someone's mouth because we don't see within them an unblemishing and unwavering strength against that for which is evil. No, some people are susceptible to evil, and because of it, they may be able to tell you, hey, this is what it is I see. You may be susceptible to something because I went through it. This is what it is that you're ultimately going through because I face it. I'm telling y'all that I'm not the strongest person, and I'm not the most unselfish person, that sometimes certain parts of my humanity is not legitimate as pertains to what I respect in others. And I'm not the most empathetic human being. I'm not the most sensitive person. I'm not the guy that's always working the hardest all the time. I need to get better in some very, very key fundamental areas. And before getting there, I have to admit to myself, this is it. This is where we at. And this is where we at. And if it were up to me, I'd be in the house doing art, listening to a playlist that I created for myself and others, getting rest that I feel like my body could most definitely use, and limiting the opportunities for things to go wrong in these LA streets. That's what I wanted to do in my day. I was gonna wake up out of a nice nap, probably get up and either do my Hunter's Brew workout or, you know, start the food that I have cooked for myself, probably get in the shower, all this good stuff. Do my night work, probably lay down and read some of the Quran, since that's what I've been occupying a lot of my time before going to sleep doing. Like, that's how I want to spend my day. Whatever my uncle had planned, I can guarantee you that it was nowhere near what I wanted for my day. Even if it's better, even if it's a lot better, and which it probably is. You know, that's the reality of it, man. It probably is. And that's what I told God. I'm like, look, I've cheated myself out of so many good opportunities to spend time with loved ones, some of which who've passed on, some of which don't care anything of me anymore. You know what I mean? People I really cared about, I don't have no time for me no more, or don't talk to me anymore. I cheated myself out of opportunities because I was thinking like this in the moment. I want to spend time doing whatever I had doing in the day. I don't care that you in town for a week, bro. Should I? Of course. If I want to consider myself a human being, a good human being, you got to be unselfish enough to want to visit people when they only in town for a couple of days. I don't give a dang about that. Like, naturally. No, I don't care about none of that, bro. I care about what my comfort zones is. I got to deal with this. I got to deal with whatever's going on in my life. I got to deal with anxiety when I'm in the presence of you. I got to deal with, whoever may be coming in and out of your house that makes me feel uncomfortable if for some reason that is the case. Not to say that any of that's going on, but the point is, I limit them circumstances. I make sure that they aren't even possible in my life. I stay away from people. I ain't getting in the car with homeboy who has this in the trunk. Why? Because I ain't gonna be nowhere near homeboy. He don't even know me, how I live. I ain't let that girl into my life. She ain't got none of these problems that a lot of people have with women and baby daddy drama, baby mama drama. Why? Because I ain't never let that woman anywhere near me. She ain't even where I'm at. Wherever the hell y'all met her at, I wasn't there. So now that y'all got some of them problems y'all got in your life, them problems came because you allowed for them people to be in your circumference, because you allowed yourself to be confident enough in her presence to speak to her in such a way. You had all the things that she wanted, for which made you okay for her to let into your life, and now you got the problems that you have. I don't have any of those things. She ain't gonna see me that way, and most importantly, she ain't gonna see me at all because I ain't there. This is how I've survived. I may have stepped away from good opportunities. I think I stepped away from a lot of bad ones, and it just is what it is. I may not be stronger for it. When days like this come around, I'm less likely to feel comfortable. I'm more likely to prioritize my comfort in avoiding these circumstances because I didn't condition myself for these type of situations. If anything, I conditioned myself for the opposite. You may feel very uncomfortable doing what I feel comfortable because you're not conditioned for being alone. You're not conditioned for never seeing your loved ones. You're not conditioned. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how you're wired. It's just how I'm wired. And everything bad that comes my way, you avoid. And everything bad that comes your way, I've avoided. And it's just the presence of being different in this world, man, and trying to help people understand. And no, I'm not lonely, man. No, I am not lonely. I don't long for people at all, on any level, outside of lust, which is something that I ultimately have to overcome just like everybody else. That's not a good thing. But as far as me needing you, only if I'm conditioned in such a way to where I want you around, and then from there build up a desire to have you around. Like I have some ex-girlfriends whom I thought I couldn't live without. That's not a very good mindset for me. But once I got over that, do I need them now? I do not. Respectfully, to all of those loved ones of mine, nope. It's just how I'm wired, man. I don't get lonely. I get socially exhausted. That's what I get. I get these awkward feelings when I'm in the presence of other people. Uncomfort. I feel discomfort. Unless I'm extremely comfortable with you, or unless I've mentally prepared myself for those realities. However that goes. What that looks like in my life, many different things. Mentally preparing means I had a couple days to think about it, a day or two knowing that it's coming, or there's some stuff going on in regards to being around some folks that I actually really want to be a part of, as to which I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's a lot of different factors to that. But on a day like today, when I thought I was staying home, when I was already exhausted from last night and I was mentally prepared to be able to get a daytime nap, and I'm looking at this freaking weather and I don't want to be out in this, yeah, no, and you spring on me, yo, I insist you hang out with me for me, yeah, no, I ain't gonna be happy with none of that, bro. I'm not mentally prepared for any of that. I'm gonna be very uncomfortable under that circumstance. I don't like any of that, honestly. In fact, I loathe it a lot. But those traits are not ones I respect in others, and so if I have them in myself, I too need to work against them. It's a war, man. I've lived my life, all my life, being very comfortable with how I was until I realized that I didn't like any of those traits in other people, bro. Selfishness, lying, aligning self with only what you want at the expense of other people, not being considerate, not being respectful, being ungrateful. I don't like any of that in other people. I hate all of that when it's pointed at myself, but all of it comes so naturally to me. Nah, I'm not okay with that. This is the betterment of self, by forcing yourself as critically as you look at others to say, yes, this is how I naturally feel. Nah, it's not acceptable. I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna fight it in myself just like I would want you to fight it within you. I'm gonna get out here in the rain against all of my better intentions for myself, for somebody else's intentions, for their needs, which may directly go against my own. Walk into my own discomfort because I love the people that ultimately I'm trying to do this for enough to do it. Risk whatever it is I tell myself could be a risk, whether it is reality or not. Because that is who I want to be remembered as. Somebody who cared more to do more than what came naturally to him. Someone who loved enough and was grateful enough for those who did enough for him to fight this demon within that makes me as callous and lacking humanity as I do. As I wish so many would. As I wish so many were strong enough to do. To display a certain level of strength and accountability, to not be fine with that for which is flawed within oneself, but to stand on the morals and take what comes with it of the behavior that you would respect in somebody else. Be that you want to see in the world, and take the lumps and the scars that come with that, because that's exactly what's required for all of us to be what it is you most respect. Within reason, within reason. There's a lot of times these things force you into spaces that are not right for you. And if your energy isn't right, you can find yourself trying to do what it is I just described and welcoming your doom. You shouldn't do every damn thing. But within reason. And this is accompanied with a lot of meditation and prayer. I would suggest you do that before embarking on any behaviors. Literally any. I want my uncle to understand, man. I really love you, man. I'm out here very unhappy. Very unhappy. I don't require to hang today, my man. I don't require any of those things. In fact, my most comfortable spaces is to reset my social battery so that I can be ready to hang tomorrow, man. Truly. But it's not that I'm fine with that. I am not fine with that conditioning. I'm not fine with that selfishness. I'm not fine with that weakness. I don't respect that when I see other people. When I hear my own thoughts, I don't respect those thoughts. It's too rainy. I want to be comfortable. I wasn't ready to go. I don't respect any of that. Not in me and not in others, especially if we're men who try to stand for something in our lives. That's what I want people to understand. I cringe at my own conditioning for weakness, for selfishness, for poor attitude in the presence of having to do things I don't want to do, for giving myself excuses to remain weak in that space of lacking conditioning, for the lies and excuses that I would otherwise tell to get out of something, for the lack of strength required to tell somebody the truth about what makes me unhappy and what I do and do not like, for what I will stand for and what I won't. And from there, to define those things properly so that it's not weakness that's driving those opinions and those conditions and those stances. I don't want to go there because I got to get up early. I don't respect it. It comes naturally to me. I don't respect it just the same. I want people to know exactly what it is I'm trying to do here. Exactly what's having me be in this space right now. It's because the people I respect, they get out in it. The people I respect, they put down what they want so that they can do for others in ways that make them most respectful in the eyes of others and themselves. That's what I respect. If I can't be what I respect, then I have no right to hold others to a level that makes them be somebody I respect. If I can't take the lumps, the perceived lumps, to be a better human being, I don't believe I can effectively, with confidence, ask anybody else to do the same and otherwise expect for them to have any success doing so. I'm asking the Zionist supremacists, though all that they've learned for generations at a time would tell them that it's okay to align with genocide, to freaking stop. You understand what I'm saying? Literally stop. And they will tell me that their condition, that their religion, that everything they've believed and everyone they've ever trusted have taught them to be this way. And I'm telling them that from with everything that I respect, they need to stop doing it anyway. If I can't within my own life exude that same willingness to whatever degree that would be uncomfortable to me, then there's absolutely no hope that they will do that within themselves. Based on my faith in humanity and what it is I'm able to display myself. Bdf 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.